Still wonder if you make a profit months over months, or do you struggle with understanding your cost per mile? In this video, we will outline how to correctly calculate your all-in cost per mile. My name's Natalie, and welcome to our Trucking Business channel. One of the most important things you can do before you start your trucking business is to estimate your all-in cost per mile. Knowing this cost, along with the estimating how much you will make, enables you to estimate your expected profit. Profit is your most important number. Your profit is how much you keep after paying all expenses. Let's go step by step to examine how to do that. So, step number 1. Determine how many miles you drove, or you will drive if you do projections. The most important number for these calculations is the total number of miles in a given month. This number of miles includes compensated miles and deadhead miles. This spreadsheet and following examples assume that the average trucker drives around 9,000 miles per month. Obviously, this mileage varies by owner-operator. Step number 2. Calculate fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are expenses that stay the same from month to month, regardless of how many miles you drive. For example, truck payments are considered a fixed expenses. They stay the same regardless of how many miles you drive. Insurance, license plates, and many permits are also fixed expenses. This table shows an example of possible fixed expenses for a startup owner-operator. As you can see from the list, most fixed expenses are straightforward and easy to calculate. Some costs are paid yearly as a single payment, rather than monthly. For example, license plates are usually paid once a year. We estimate a yearly cost of $1,500, which equals $125 per month. This method helps estimate the all-in cost per mile more easily. Step number 3. Calculate variable expenses. Variable expenses are the direct costs associated with driving every mile. They increase and decrease based on the number of miles you drive in a given month. For example, fuel is a variable expense. You need to buy fuel for every mile you drive. If you drive more miles than usual in a week, your fuel cost will increase proportionally. And if you don't drive any miles in a given week, you won't have to pay for fuel that week. Examples of variable expenses include fuel, meals, telephones, tires, maintenance, and so on. The following table shows examples of variable expenses for an owner-operator. Step 4. Calculate cost per mile. The last step is to put everything together. Using the number of miles, the monthly fixed cost, and the monthly variable cost, we can calculate your cost per mile. To calculate the cost per mile, divide the cost by the number of miles you drove this month. For example, fixed costs per mile is calculated by dividing total fixed cost by 9,000 miles, which gives us 30 cents per mile. Using the same method, we calculate variable cost to be 70 cents. Adding both numbers provides a total cost per mile of $1. One important detail to notice is that because your fixed costs don't change, your fixed cost per mile decreases as the number of miles you drive increases. Your variable cost per mile tend to stay the same regardless of the number of miles you drive. The following tables put everything together and provide a summary. Using this information, we determine that if you drive 9,000 miles per month, getting $1 per mile will allow you to meet all your expenses. Every cent above $1 becomes your profit. Consequently, if you charge $2 a mile, you would make a profit of $1 per mile. Knowing your variable costs and fixed costs will help you be even more accurate. Use those numbers at times when you take a load into an area where you know that the load coming out is going to be paid crappy. If you're covering at least your variable costs, you know you're not digging yourself into too deep of a hole. We recommend calculating your cost per mile for your first 3 months, again after your first 6 months, and then at the year mark. After your first year in business, you should calculate your cost per mile every 6 months. We're here at Resolute to help you to fight for extra penny which leads your business to success. Please share and comment your cost per mile. Let us know if we are on the same page. Hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to watch our next episode. See ya!